we'll get right into the main video here. This crazy chick, many of you know Lizzie Borden, the old 40 whacks with a rusty axe, and she whacked her mother with 40 whacks, and when she was done, she whacked her father with 41 or something like that. Well, this crazy LGHD TV chick decided, hey, it's election night. My father doesn't support my lifestyle. I'm going to fight the patriarchy by burying this thing in his freaking head. So she takes out her... And I've looked into this a little bit. I looked into this. I did a little search here because if you don't remember, I'm not going to read these whole stories, but again, from Newsweek, just back in March of last year, how many mass events have been carried out by the LGHD TV people. And our friend Benny Johnson said Colorado Springs shooter identified as non-binary. Denver identified as transitioning. Same thing with Aberdeen. Same thing with Nashville. And he says, these radicalized people are not doing very well. And he's dead on. He's dead on. He's exactly right. They're not doing well. They're having issues because they're not healthy people. And I don't, if you have friends that identify, that's not what this is about. It's about, all the events that are happening. And it used to be the straight white, ticked off, quote unquote, incel or whatever, angry white dude doing this stuff. And now it turns out it's either the dudes that say they're women or the women that say they're dudes doing a lot of this stuff. And I tried to look up some statistics. And what's interesting is I just did a search down the webpage here, nothing crazy. And they're doing all these fact checks. No. And most of them aren't carried out by the LGHD. No, they're perfectly sane and fine. It just happens to be a coincidence. But there's a problem. See, when they start talking about what's considered a mass event, it's where anything more than either 3 and or 4 people have been hit by a round of ammunition. And the problem with that is then all of a sudden that makes almost every weekend in Chicago or Baltimore or Oakland or various areas in Memphis, it makes each weekend in each one of these cities a mass event that is considered statistically a mass event. But obviously that's not what we're talking about. So yeah, when you look in total, there might be 400 a year, 500 a year, because they're taking all these cities into account when they're talking about it. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the wackadoos that walk into a school and decide to go there. And this year, and last year, there's been something like 8 or 10, almost all of them have been by the LGHD TV community. And then you've got stories like this. This literally just dropped a short while ago. Authorities and electric crews responded to a call in Salt Lake City, Utah, after a woman, quote unquote woman, climbed up on a power line and started dangling around and flailing around. They finally hit this person with a rubber bullet or a beanbag bullet. And you can see the damn thing's arcing down below, so they had to shut off the power. And they're going absolutely mental. They're going absolutely mental. So we're gonna jump into the main story here. Where is it? Where did my main story go? Oh, here it is, right here. From the Daily Mail. Before I jump into the main story, let me quickly also do this. I know this is a lot front loaded, but I want to kind of get it all out of the way so we can continue on. Let me quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor, the Wellness Company, Healthcare Without the Propaganda. You guys know I've been talking about them now for a couple of months. They have these amazing medical kits. Usually I play a little video. Today I don't want to play the video. I want to actually show you what's in this stuff because some of you skeezers out there need this stuff. I know it. They have amoxicillin, it's a penicillin antibiotic and a beta, what do they call it? Lactamase inhibitor, commonly used to treat bacterial infections such as ear infection, strep throat, pneumonia, urinary tract infection, and skin infections. That's good stuff. Azithromycin, antibiotic of the mucose and for your lungs. Doxycycline, that's for your skeezers out there that are still playing the hit it and quit it game. That doxycycline's used for Lyme and Rocky Mountain spotted fever, malaria, soft tissue infections, STDs, or STIs, depending on how you call them, and bioterror exposure to anthrax and the plague. Ivermectin. As you can see, this kit comes with a whole bunch of really great stuff in it. And you can see they have more medicines. If I zoom this up a little bit, they have more meds in this kit than anybody else. And if you use my promo code, which is Odd Man Out, you get $30 off. It's the cheapest kit on the market, and you get up to 2 years of refill. So again, that's TWC, twc.health/oddmanout. Use promo code oddmanout. twc.com/oddmanout. Promo code oddmanout to get your kit today. I would appreciate it if you did. Okay, let's try this again. From the Daily Mail, power lesbian. I don't even know what a power lesbian is. Corey Burke slays her father with an ice axe in an election night meltdown at a Seattle home. Now, I don't know if this has anything to do with the elections. It does have to do with being mentally ill, obviously. And it does have to do with the fact that her father and this woman, who is a woman, by the way, who was married to a dude that said he was a woman, they had some very big problems, obviously, and they didn't do so well. And she decided to fight the patriarchy by burying an axe in its forehead. A Blue Origin employee. So here we're talking about white collar, upper crust, liberal, college educated lady, employed a Blue Origin employee married to a prominent transitioned author and journalist, has been accused of ending her elderly father with an ice axe on election night. Corey Burke, 33, allegedly strangled her father, 67-year-old Timothy Burke, in this attack in her $800,000 Seattle home on November 5th. I'm going to watch my words because, I do want to put this on Big Mama YouTube. But here she's got a job at Blue Origin, which is Jeff Bezos' rocket company. She's married to a prominent author, a dude that now says he's a woman. She's 33. She has an $800,000 home in the far left Seattle district, and she went wackadoo because most of these women that are getting and doing this stuff are going wackadoo. Burke, a training manager at Jeff Bezos' rockets and spacecraft company, confessed to killing her father after he refused to turn off the lights, according to charging documents seen by dailymail.com. So I guess he didn't want to turn off the lights. And so that's like, well, that's enough. Let's end him. That's it. Let's end him. Burke reportedly told detectives that she knew she could not convince her father to keep the lights off, so she went upstairs to retrieve the weapon. She then tripped her father and then choked him before going at him with the ice axe. Burke then bit him and hit him several times in the head and side with the blunt and sharp end of the ice axe. His body was found in the basement. So now she's not an incredibly big person, but you've got liberal, left, marrying somebody of the LGHD TV community, very successful, part of the, Rainbow Coalition, and she absolutely flips her shit and decides to take out her own father, biting him in the process. Don't forget, I will be doing the Tyson Paul fight. Might be able to see a little more biting over there as well, depending on how Tyson does. Here's the woman and her husband, now wife, I guess. They seem perfectly normal, don't they? Burke claims she knew this event needed to happen today, according to a police report. She had allegedly told police she had to bite her father while choking him out because he was too strong. Burke added that she felt better once her father went limp. Burke also told police that her father labored to breathe after her attack. The defendant sat next to him until he stopped breathing. Investigators say Burke came out of the Rainier Valley home with her face covered in blood, apparently to have a mental health crisis. Gee, do you think she was in a bit of a crisis? Look, here's the thing. Here's why I'm doing this story, guys, and legitimately. The reason why I'm doing this story is if you look at this gal right here, now she's 33, so maybe this is a picture from, 5 years ago, maybe? A couple years ago? I don't know. This is modern times. This isn't like a picture. This looks like a picture from the 1980s, but this is just a few years ago. This is the type of girl you might see on Tinder and say, yeah, I'd take her out and shag her. I'd take her out and go on a date with her. And then she ends up freaking out on you and burying something into your forehead and ending you. The times have changed where you thought you understood what a crazy woman is. We would call them Karens, or we'd call them women that just freaked out. We called them women that lost their marbles. We might even say it was a woman that would accuse you of doing something you didn't do, because that's really what the big danger was just 5 years ago. But now we're seeing more and more women have legitimate mental breakdowns to where they're doing grievous bodily harm to their husbands, their boyfriends, in this case, their father. And in way too many times, they're being let off the hook because of my mental incompetence or my patriarchy, or I was under distress because it was election night and Donald Trump was ahead in the poll. Like, the sad part is so many times these excuses are believed and they're accepted and there's leniency and people feel bad for them and they might spend little to no jail time now. And then they just come out in the real world and you're like, oh my gosh, what in the living hell is going on with people? I don't think it's going to be that easily detectable to know what's going on anymore, because I've done plenty of articles of very attractive, pretty women who have gone after their the reason why I say partners is I could say boyfriend. They've gone after their husbands. I mean, their significant others, maybe is a good way to put it. They went after them. I mean, if you remember the way back in I think it was the 90s, Lorena Bobbitt, she accused her husband of cheating on her and of him being harmful. She cut off his unit, drove down the road and threw it out the window. And it was recovered and it was reattached. And she went on a press circuit doing interviews with, I don't remember if it was Barbara Walters or who it was. She went on a world tour and women were laughing at what she did. I mean, this is not a new thing where that it's okay to hurt men. It's okay to come out against men, and women because they always say, well, he was doing X to me and therefore it was justified. Obviously, this event just happened last week, so we don't know the outcome of this. But this is something that we do kind of need to take into effect when you're going out there. I know there's a whole lot of guys that, like some of you say, oh, well, I just go over to her place, I tap it, and then I bail. Or, I meet her in public places till I get to know her. I think that getting to know her in public places is perfectly fine. And if you're going to her place and tapping it and quitting it, this is what I talked about in my last video, the aqua tofana. Like, now you got to watch out for these women dropping stuff into your drink. Then before you know it, you're dizzy, she roofied you, and you're out on your feet, and next thing you know, you're not waking up again. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. And on TikTok and on all these social media websites, not only is it okay that they do this and there's no ramification, but they're cheered and they're getting hundreds of thousands and millions of likes for this content. So it is something that you do need to be aware of and pay attention to and kind of take seriously. This poor father, I mean, even he's 67 years old. She's only 33. But, she trips him. He falls down. She jumps on his back and starts going at him with an ice axe. Like, I don't care who you are. I mean, maybe if you're like the Mountain or something or other. But if you're a normal-sized dude, some chick that looks like this jumps on top of you and starts whacking at you with an axe after she trips you, it might be game over. You're at least going to be grievously wounded. She says she had apparently smashed several windows, later told police she did so in an act of liberation after she ended the poor man. She had reportedly been clapping and cheering inside the home when the cops arrived. Police report also includes her claims that she had been reborn on her 33rd birthday last month. She initially did not let police enter the home, and detectives only went in after neighbors expressed concern for the father. A neighbor first dialed 911 after spotting her smashing picture windows. The officer who responded to the call discovered the horror she had leased inside. Now, let me ask you this. If a neighbor picked up the phone and said there's a guy next door smashing stuff and heard her cheer, heard a guy in there cheering, and they said there's an elderly woman there, and I think there's a guy going nuts, are the police going to wait around? Are the police going to, stand outside and think about things and wait until they're invited in? No, they're going to storm in. Why does she get preferential treatment? Because she's a woman. Police say they recovered the silver and blue ice climbing pick at the crime scene. Burke was initially taken to a hospital for mental health evaluation. The day after this, she had reportedly whispered to one police officer, "I ended him." Burke added that she had a strained relationship with her father and said she had been overwhelmed on election day. She added that she wanted to help people change their attachment to their parents. How would this change your attachment to your parent by hearing this woman went crazy and buried a blade in somebody. Like, she's being charged with first-degree murder on Friday, held on $2 million bond, due in court on November 21st. Neighbors told police the father and daughter lived in the home together and that Timothy was most homebound because of health issues. So I guess she purchased the home she shared with her father in 2023. Okay, so she bought the home and let him stay there. Her husband, Samantha Lee Allen, who now goes by the wife, is an editor at Condé Nast's transitioning news website, Them. Allen previously worked as a writer covering LGHD TV issues for the Daily Beast and Fusion Media. Well, there's a shocker. There's a shocker. A former he, now she, that writes all the LGHD TV stuff for leftist media. I know it's very easy to say that, you need to be careful around women and you have to. I'm more coming to believe that with conservative women, or at least traditional women, she may cheat on you. She may, she may break up with you. She may not even date you. She might not look your way. But I don't find them nearly as freaky or weird or dangerous as the leftoids. They seem to be the ones that are spreading all this hate on the internet. They're the ones calling out to harm each other. They're the ones now saying that if you vote the wrong way and didn't do what we wanted to, we're not going to sleep with you. We're not going to do anything with you. We're going to go out and hurt you. So maybe I do think it boils down to, are they just on the left or not? I think that's at least if you're going to find out how you're going to get in a lot of trouble. Lastly, I'll leave this segment with this. This lady went viral, and this has a little bit to do with politics, I understand, but this lady went viral because she went on social media saying, oh, you should end people, and if your parents voted this way, and if you did this, and it's just like I told you. I told you they're doing it for virtue signaling, that they do really believe this way, but they wouldn't talk this way in polite society because they'd be held accountable for their actions. But they will do it on social media for clout and validation because it gets lots of likes and clicks and shares. And then the real world comes to visit them and they say, oh, woe is me. I didn't mean anything. This is not who I am. This is not a good representation. Let's listen to the backtrack and the doublespeak from the virtue signaling weirdos on the internet.
Neither the are you guys. Just because you won doesn't mean we don't remember who the you voted for. And just please don't test your gangster on me, because you will end on a stretcher, gone forever. So serious. Nobody talk to me unless you want to swing. If you want to fight, text me, call me, whatever.
So typical leftoid. You want to go? You didn't vote the right way. You want to fight? Don't test me. I'll put you on a stretcher and you'll never wake up again. Okay, that's talking about ending someone's life. That's pretty tough talk. But it's for social media validation. So what happens when she gets fired? Because believe it or not, I think she's a teacher.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
She's a teacher, I believe is her job, if this is the woman I remember. What happens when she's held accountable for her words? What happens when she's fired? Here comes the backtracking. No taking accountability. No admitting, I was just doing it for clicks on social media. It's woe is me.
Those who know you say you love teaching. How hard is it to walk away from that?
It's hard right now because, this is not who I am as a professional or who I am as a teacher. I've devoted my whole life to this, preparing my whole life. I always wanted to be a teacher from the time I was a young child. I finally worked my way up to that. And I am well respected, which I appreciate.
Not anymore.
I love my students. I love their families. I love the people I work with.
No, you don't. Only if they vote the right way. See, fake outrage anger, she really does hate Trump people. She would have no problems watching a Trump voter get mauled by lions. She'd be fine with that. That she's telling the truth. She just got caught telling the truth. And now here come the crocodile tears and the woe is me, I love everybody. No, you don't. No, you don't.
I'm just trying to do what's right now to get my life back on track and get back to what I love. And it's my biggest passion in the world.
What's your message to those parents?
Those parents, I am so so sorry that you had to see that side of me, because the only side of me I ever wanted you to see was what you saw.
Then why did you post it online for virtue signaling? Why did you do it? And now I want you to pause and wait for a moment. Wait for it. Wait. And why is she being allowed on mainstream news to give a plea to everybody, to explain her side of the story, to get the story straight, to put her message of love and acceptance out there? Why? Do you think they do the same for, I don't know, a conservative or a man that said something nearly as controversial about Kamala Harris? No, he'd be in jail. But this is, it's fine. No big deal. It's all right.
And what I did for your kids and what I did for you. And I hope that I was always a support and always did everything that I possibly could for you. And I promise you that I intended to, and I did everything I could to be there for the families and the parents, and just how sorry I am that now this is out there and they have to see this side of me.
This all started to unfold when that video was released earlier this week, prompting the school and police to investigate. She posted it on Snapchat. A friend of hers reposted it, and that's when it went viral. Dunleavy also told me today that police updated her today, and Cheshire Police say they do not plan to charge her.
Well, there's a shock. No charges. So you can go out there and make these threats towards a president as well as anybody that voted for him. That's all right. All right, no big deal. Now, she did resign, but she wasn't fired. Now, so they may have gone in. And here's the thing. She's a special education teacher. This is a special ed teacher. This is why I'm saying the game's changed so much, guys. The game has changed so much. I'm not saying that women are necessarily any crazier than they were in the past, but there's a lot more of them that are crazier. Not that they're necessarily more crazy, just that there's more of them that are crazy. And it seems more and more of them are easier to identify because they got the LGHDTV pronouns. They've got the TDS. They're the ones that are on social media trying to get validation. And since they're again, I say this last video, I'll say it again, this one, because it's important. The pretty ones get validation because they put themselves in bikini pictures. They put themselves on vacation. They put themselves in these lavish lifestyles where men fawn over them and buy them trips. And then you've got the other half that are not pretty enough for that, and they just go down a spiraling rabbit hole of wackadoo crazy, and that's how they get validation. And then when they get caught, it's all crocodile tears and I never meant it. No accountability. I'm telling you, fellas, you better be careful out there, because these women are not in a very good place anymore. I legitimately mean that.